All right, let's dive right into one of the biggest, most enduring puzzles in the Bible. It's a theological mystery that has sparked arguments for centuries, and it all boils down to two words that seem to be in conflict: faith and works. Okay, so in one corner, we have the Apostle James, and he does not mince words. He comes out with this powerhouse statement: faith without works is dead. Pretty direct, right? If your faith doesn't lead to you doing something, it's not real. It's lifeless. But then, hold on. In the other corner, we've got the Apostle Paul, and he seems to be saying the exact opposite. He says a person is justified, made right with God, by faith completely apart from works. So, what gives? How can they both be right? And that right there is our central question. Are we looking at a genuine contradiction right in the heart of the Bible? For almost 2,000 years, some of the smartest people around have wrestled with this. Today, we're going to see if we can unravel it together. I mean, it's easy to see why this has been so controversial. On the surface, it really does look like a massive tug of war over the very nature of salvation. Is it about what we believe in our heads, or is it about what we do with our hands? To solve this mystery, we have to do what any good detective would. We've got to examine the evidence. And in this case, the evidence is all in the words themselves. The first step is figuring out what Paul and James actually meant when they use the words faith and works. So let's start with faith, or pistis in the original Greek. Now, for us, faith can sometimes mean just, agreeing with a set of facts. But that's not what's going on here. In their world, pistis was this incredibly rich, active concept. It's about deep trust, about loyalty, about a full-on relational reliance on God. It's something you live out, not just something you think. And then you've got works, or ergon. This just means an activity aimed at producing something. But again, context is absolutely key. When James talks about works, he's talking about the tangible, real-world results of that active faith we just mentioned. Things like showing mercy, caring for the poor, living at peace with people. And this right here, this is the moment it all starts to click into place. Paul and James weren't fighting each other, not at all. They were fighting completely different battles. Paul was dealing with works of the law, things like circumcision or dietary rules that some people were using like ethnic ID badges as a way to try and earn their right standing with God. But James, he was tackling a totally different problem: a dead faith, an empty belief that produces zero change in a person's life, a faith, as he puts it, that even demons have. Ouch. So you see, they were both addressing completely different ways the good news was being distorted. They weren't adversaries. They were actually allies, working to protect the very same truth, just from different angles. And get this, here's the amazing part. They both use the exact same person, Abraham, as their star witness. Paul points way back to Genesis 15, where Abraham's faith alone was counted as righteousness, long before any of those works of the law were even a thing. James, though, he looks ahead to Genesis 22, where Abraham's willingness to act on that faith proved that it was real and complete. They're just looking at two different chapters of the same story to make 2 points that actually fit together perfectly. So if you want to boil it all down, here's the crucial point. Think of them as two doctors treating two different diseases. Paul wrote the prescription for legalism, this idea that you can earn your way to God through rule-keeping. And James? He wrote the prescription for antinomianism, the idea that what you believe has no effect on how you live. And all of this leads to a classic phrase that just beautifully wraps it all up. It is faith alone that saves, but the faith that saves is never alone. A real living faith, well, it's gotta produce something. It has to have a pulse. It can't be by itself. But that begs the question, right? What's the engine here? What's the thing that connects that internal, saving faith to the external works of love? Well, this is where we find the hidden actor in this whole drama, the real unifying element, the Holy Spirit. And this perspective is a complete game changer. Good works are not a ladder you climb to try and earn God's approval. No. Instead, they are the natural, inevitable fruit that grows from a life that's been fundamentally changed from the inside out. They're the evidence of a new creation, a life being actively powered by God's Spirit. The fruit doesn't create the life creates the fruit. It's a huge difference. James actually connects this fruit to another really cool idea, sophia, or wisdom from above. And we're not just talking about being smart or having a high IQ. This is a divine gift.
It's the very character of God's Spirit being expressed through a person's life. It's relational, it's peaceful, it's merciful. And how do you know if someone has it? Simple. You look for the good fruits it produces.
So, let's zoom out and put all the pieces together. How does all of this combine to give us a complete, unified picture of what a life of faith really looks like? Let's see how it all fits. So here it is, the final verdict. The Spirit is the power source. It's what renews our minds to have genuine faith, and it's what empowers our actions to produce those good works. And just like that, the contradiction totally vanishes. Faith and works aren't enemies. They're just two sides of the same coin, a coin that gets its value from the Spirit of God. And what does this mature, integrated faith look like in real life? Well, it's the whole package. It's a faith and a mind that have been renewed. It's real-world acts of love and justice, all enabled by the Spirit. It's a divine wisdom for how to actually live. And it's using whatever gifts we have to help others. It's a holistic vision for a life that is truly, fully alive. And that leaves us with one last question to think about. A question that takes all this theology and makes it incredibly personal. If true faith really is a living, breathing thing, not just a dead idea, then what is its visible fruit, its proof in our own lives and in the world around us today?